So, Bigpod,
What?
just to let you know, I bought another game.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Thankfully, this one is just a starter set, so it only cost me $30.
Okay. Good.
Unfortunately, because it's a starter set, means that I have a very basic rule set and very limiting options in it. So, it's not the
Sure.
full game, but
Okay.
it's a starter set, so it's supposed to tell you just enough of the game. In the
Great.
event that anybody wants to know, it's the Cosmere role-playing game, specifically their Stormlight starter set. They just announced that they're doing a Mistborn set coming out. I think it's already on Kickstarter, but I don't know if I'm actually going to play this game because the Cosmere set's been out for a while, and I haven't found a whole lot of gameplay content for it. So it kind of makes me wonder. So, this is part of the most popular Kickstarter for a tabletop role-playing game. Because, people generally enjoy, the Cosmere novels, which are written by Brandon Sanderson. Which, kind of makes me wonder if, the novel readers aren't really gamers? Or tabletop gamers? Who knows? Cue the music. Hey guys, welcome to No Tux Allowed. I'm your host Josh, and yes, I did in fact show up this week. I'm also wearing a white t-shirt. And of course, the guy that hasn't missed a single episode, besides one, Bigpod. How's it going, man?
Hello, doing good. And I did miss two.
Two.
Not just one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Bigpod, just to let you know, there is no Valve Watch this week because you did an entire episode dedicated to that. So
Yeah.
I just didn't want to, initiate Valve Watch when, there was really nothing to talk about.
Yep. But if my guesses are correct, we might be hearing first things about it on Friday or next week. So on Friday.
Bear in mind, we're recording this on a Tuesday.
Okay, I'm gonna correct. By the time this is out, we should be hearing first things. If my guess is correct, there will be something regarding Valve on Summer Game Fest.
Quite possibly. Heaven forbid. I've already allocated $300 off towards a Warhammer purchase this weekend. So
Yeah.
that's just me spending my own money.
Yeah.
So which might delay my purchasing of Valve products, but at the same time, I've always been more of a tabletop gamer than a video game player. I just really like Valve as a company, which is why I say I'm going to buy their stuff.
And when it comes out, I'll be waiting in the proverbial line for pre-purchase queues to open.
Yep.
So I can get my hands on Steam machine as soon as possible.
Hopefully you can get one in time.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we have a Red Hat article.
Oh.
Every time we talk about Red Hat, it's typically a security issue.
Yeah.
It's awkward, But anyways, that's exactly what it is today. Bear in mind, we're talking on Tuesday, June the 2nd, when we're recording this. Things might change by the time this episode comes out. But at the same time, there are also not really problems either. But Red Hat has been maintaining NPM packages, which got compromised due to stolen developer credentials, which it obviously means that somebody had their GitHub account hacked, quite literally. But these packages were contained a malicious pre-install stall script that would just install just a random index.js file that would then index the server, because, JavaScript belongs on the server for some reason, that was designed to steal developer credentials, cloud secrets, SSH keys, CI/CD tokens, and other forms of sensitive information, according to Aikido.
So another credential stealer.
Yep, another credential stealer. Now, obviously, Red Hat is a big multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
And it's also owned by IBM, but they were a billion-dollar company before IBM bought them. And of course, they've already did the smart thing, and they just took the packages down.
Good.
Now, these packages were also strictly limited to internal development, so the code was never published in a consumer space. Which means
So,
that the
proprietary code.
Well, proprietary code, or it was just test code that hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
That's basically what it means. Now, of course, this was compromised through a Red Hat employee's GitHub account. Whether it be his personal account or a work account, we don't actually know. And the commits were added straight to a GitHub Actions workflow. So every time, of course, GitHub Actions were called to build the package or audit the package, this was being executed. And it was 32 different packages, 96 package versions in total, under the namespace of @redhat-cloud-services. And they've even attributed a name to this malware. They're calling it miasma.
Oh.
Yep. Miasma the spreading blight is what they call it now, because that's apparently what it wound up calling itself. Because this malware is also self-propagating.
Oh.
Across all these, which is where it got the tagline of the spreading blight, because it does spread. Now, of course, they've already compared this with a known group called Shai Halud, I believe is how it's
known attack type. Yeah, Shai Halud. Yes.
Yeah.
Known.
So it's resembling that. They're not saying that it's this group, but it's similar enough.
Yeah.
Now, of course, at the time of us reporting this, which is being reported by Bleeping Computer as our source, it's in total about 309 GitHub repositories.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bigpod, let's just assume that this is just the developer's personal account on GitHub.
Yeah.
That was done this. Now, obviously, when it comes to Red Hat, it's a bit of a unique case for Red Hat employees, because Red Hat actively encourages their different employees to contribute to open source projects, which makes sense. That's just like the good guy Red Hat kind of thing to do. Even Microsoft does it to some extent. They also mandate that anybody that makes contributions in this way has uses their Red Hat email address. That way Red Hat can get
claim
some advertising in, which hey, not a problem. Now, of course, that also means that with Red Hat being, the general good guy in the open source space, and also the biggest good guy in the open source space, every time something like this comes around, it typically makes the news. So
yeah,
it might not be, Red Hat's fault, but Red Hat, the guy just happens to work for Red Hat, which is why they're even mentioned. That said, we don't really know which employee it is. We could probably find out if we look hard enough, but I'm not about to.
Yeah.
Because in reality, it's just, their GitHub account got stolen. So it could be, through cookie theft, or, they just didn't have 2FA properly configured, which, they probably should.
Yeah.
Or, their SSH key leaked.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There is a lot of chance to get this kind of attack vector.
Yeah, so, and of course, Red Hat's already taken the stuff that they maintain down, so...
Good.
It's not. They did everything right as what they normally do. That said, these packages did receive 117,000 downloads.
Oh God.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. And of course, if you maintain a server,
Yeah,
you should
check if you use
probably.
these libraries and then reset your credentials for
Yep.
stuff like AI.
Yeah. That said, we do have the article linked, which Bleeping Computer does typically a very good job of linking to all the other resources that you would need to figure out what packages those are. Because it's a lot of packages, and I just don't feel like taking time to list them all. But let's move on from that to another a way to circumvent like the cookie issue at least.
Yeah.
Because Google Chrome got a bit of a nice little security update, or a security feature, I mean, which could be good. Actually, it's mostly good, but there's a gotcha.
Yep.
So Google Chrome added this thing that they call session cookie theft protection for all users. Specifically,
Specifically, Chrome Device Bound Session Credentials, or DBSC.
yeah. Now, so before we go explaining what that is, we need to explain first of all what a cookie is.
Cookie is literally a bit of data, a few kilobytes in size, that a website can store on your client and then use and then has access to the data. Often, though, the bits that are stored are like uh, credential information, your like random different types of credential information. So, for example, so you can log in. So your SSO works if you set remember me, that is stored in your in cookie. So, and if you like move through websites, so you stay logged in, that's in some way stored in your cookies. There are also some website settings that can be stored in cookies, and more recently, they can be used to track you, like tracking information across websites.
Yeah, which is the bit of the scary part about them, but
Yeah,
basically it's to really dumb it down, it's the thing that says that you get to use your Google account with all the different things. It just
yeah,
checks against that cookie. That's it. Now, obviously, there's a gotcha because say if your computer gets compromised, that cookie could be theoretically stolen and used by somebody else. So that
yeah,
way that other person can then log into your Google account. If you
yeah.
want a practical example of this happening, about 3 years ago, the popular YouTube channel Linus Tech Tips did in fact get a Google account compromised, and
Through
people just logged in and just started running a malicious live stream on the channel.
yeah, through session
Uh,
cookie
yep,
hijacking, as it
I
is
actually
called.
I have the LTT video explaining that linked in the show notes. In the event that you
Good.
want to see that. That said, that was about 3 years ago, which kind of makes me wonder if Google saw that happen and started working on this new feature in response to that. Possibly. Now, but anyways, what Google is doing here with this new feature, the DBSC security feature, is that this cookie will be a cookie as before, but it's a cryptographic linking of user sessions, but it also makes use of hardware on the system, such as the TPM module on Windows and presumably Linux systems, and
Yeah,
Secure Enclave on Mac OS systems.
which is essentially Mac's equivalent of TPM. And this will be done. So basically, your cookie will be cryptographically signed. That is my guess, so that even if they get your cookie, if they put it on another machine, and when the Chrome does that check, nothing happens because the check is wrong. Check throws a failure, and that's it.
Yep. Now, this feature is already rolled out to workspace customers, so people that pay for the Google Enterprise services,
Yep.
which is good because there's a lot of specifically big YouTube channels that probably could really benefit from this feature.
Yeah,
But
a
let's
lot
talk
of
about
people.
but if you heard what we just explained, you probably already understand the gotcha. Because
Yeah.
if you're security and privacy conscious, this is a problem.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Yeah. So, obviously, this is now cryptographically verified hardware associated with your Google account, which means that they now know exactly what computer you're watching everything from on YouTube.
Not necessarily.
No?
They may actually. It may actually all happen on locally. No need to contact servers.
Could be possible. Could be possible.
Based on what I'm looking at, when you sign in, it registers the key with TPM, then it starts a session, DBSC session, where it stores public key, then it establishes the session, issues a cookie, and when the cookie expires, it refreshes the DBSC session and the cookie, which might not seem like makes sense, but to me, the way I see it, to me that sounds very much on local device or local only.
Could be the case. That said, it is communicating with the server at some point. This is this at least just for like account authentication at some. I would
Yeah.
assume for like the sign-in
Yeah,
session.
but that is mostly
Uh,
probably mostly because they wanna gate it to specific like specific users.
Yeah. That said, it could operate similar to like how SSH works, where there's just like a public encryption key that's just stored on a remote service
I
for the
think
authentication.
the private key is TPM.
Could be.
I
That
think
said,
I think I think it's all TP. That's why it uses TPM because TPM has a secure storage for keys.
which you know the hardware exists on most modern systems, so might as well make use of it, right?
Yeah, especially if you're running a MacBook or a modern Windows device.
Or a Linux system where you remember to enable TPM, which
Exactly.
most distributions these days just have out of the box support for, because it's been in the kernel for a long time now.
Yeah.
That said, I've been thinking about one of these days, just seeing if I can set up like a base level disk encryption system, which would authenticate against TPM. But every time I look into like the documentation for that, it gets a little screwy. So
It shouldn't be that hard. Check out the ujust command for it on the Bluefin repo. They
yeah,
have it set up for this.
which I don't use Bluefin myself, so I didn't think
Yeah,
about that.
but they still have commands for that, so there
Well, of
should
course,
be for you to look
there's a
at.
script somewhere I can find.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for that one of these days, because it's a little bit goes a little bit over my head there right now. But anyways, let's talk about Nvidia.
Oh, great,
Somewhat
Nvidia.
yeah, Nvidia. This time though, obviously it is AI related because it's Nvidia after all. But
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily call it like super anti-consumer, because this is the thing that you and I can buy, Bigpod,
Really,
supposedly.
we believe we
Supposedly.
can buy. We don't know
Yeah,
what's the
yeah, yeah.
price of it.
Yeah, that said, so Nvidia introduced a brand new ARM CPU.
Really.
Yep. They're calling it the RTX Spark, and of course,
Ooh.
it comes with all the Nvidia goodies of their ARM stack that was co-developed with MediaTek.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's also got like that wonderful Blackwell-based GPU on it too,
Yeah.
with support for a lot of memory, which
Yep.
probably means that it's going to be expensive because it supports memory.
Yeah.
But it's on die memory, so could be cheaper. That said, this is advertised for Windows laptops with potentially all-day battery life and premium displays, and compact desktop PCs. From partners including Asus, Dell, HP, Lenovo, Microsoft, MSI, Acer, and Gigabyte.
So the only one that I'm interested in this lineup is Dell. So at least Dell
Yeah,
is there.
because HP is cheap garbage. Lenovo is not what it used to be. I still
Microsoft
don't.
is fairly good, but it's
Microsoft,
Microsoft.
yeah, Microsoft produces interesting hardware products that
Yes.
I'm kind of keen on, but I've never seen them be like particularly great. MSI is cheap garbage. Same with Acer, and Gigabyte just looks weird.
Yeah. So we're left with Dell.
Yeah,
So
we're basically
Dell
left.
laptops.
We're basically left with Dell, which obviously, the more you spend on your Dell computer, the better the product you actually get.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
be honest with that. That said, this
Exactly.
is not the very first Nvidia chip on a Windows PC.
Nope.
They've done a previous Tegra series on the initial Windows RT tablets, if you
Yeah.
remember those.
And for like context, that's the same Tegra series that is in Switches. So
Yep.
Nintendo
Also,
Switch.
Nintendo Switch, the Nvidia Shield TV box. I think that there's even a smart TV that's shipped with the Tegra chip, but
Probably.
I think that was an LG TV.
Yeah.
So they've been making these ARM CPUs for a while, and
Yep.
they've gotten pretty good at them. But this is the first modern day Windows ARM computer that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Windows on ARM historically has been pretty darn garbage.
And the latest iteration of it, while it was better, still wasn't that great.
Yeah. It got to the point where like some of the people that were buying like these Snapdragon laptops were installing Linux on the laptops
And failing at that.
and failing. That said, the ones that got it working were actually found that it worked better because
Yeah.
programs actually worked.
Well, it's Linux. It's always better.
It's Linux. Just recompile everything against ARM. No need for translation layers.
Yeah.
That said, they are making excellent use of Microsoft's x86 to ARM code translation layer, codenamed Prism, which has supposedly gotten better and faster. And of course, on the Windows platform, many major apps are actually shipping ARM native versions, which if there's no translation overhead, just makes it run better, right?
Yep.
That said, you got to remember that this is an NVIDIA chip, so it's got the benefits that most ARM chips have to pay extra for. Of that, this chip could be cheaper too because it's got all the hardware accelerators that come with NVIDIA
Yeah.
just for free.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. That said, we have an estimated price at the top tier, which is maxed out RAM with a 4 terabyte SSD, priced at $4,700 US.
So let me explain how did they come up with that number. So apparently this is a rebrand, consumer rebrand of last year launched DGX Spark, which, by the way, costs at its lowest point $3,999, and at its highest point $4,299. And that's just a PC. That's a mini PC, personal AI desktop, as it's called. So, yeah,
That's also the top tier model. So that's as expensive as it's supposedly going to get.
yeah. But the reality is how cheap it's gonna get when DGX Spark its cheapest model is 3999.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. But on the bright side, it's not a sloucher in performance either, because they're saying that the chip alone is roughly equivalent to like a desktop RTX 5070
Yeah.
in like graphical performance, and they're saying that it uses maximum about 80 watts when which, hey, makes sense, because you got to remember, on the ARM platform, people like, say like your smartphone, that CPU is not actually doing a whole lot because everything's offloaded to dedicated accelerator chips, or at least as much as possible, because it just turns out that's more power efficient.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that the lower end chip of the lower end system of this, the absolute bottom tier, like say 4 gigs of memory, because that's just like the minimum that computers ship with these days.
I highly doubt it's gonna be that small. My guess is
I mean, they're probably not going to release a desktop version with that low memory. It's probably at least minimum going to have 8 gigs of memory.
no, I bet it's gonna be 16 because you need to think about
Oh,
RAM
because they
packages.
want it to be usable. They want it
Not
to be
just
usable.
that.
Okay.
You need to think about how you place RAM onto the chip or the board next to the chip, because well, simple reality is you need to have a certain amount of chips. How big those chips are, and if you have certain amount of RAM connections, that means that at maximum or at small, that kind of a package of RAM can be used. So, for example, if they have eight sets of connections for RAM, for direct RAM connection, at 128, that would be what's 128 uh, divided by 8.
Divided by 8, 128 divided by 8, 36?
It's 16, my friend.
16? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
My
that
bad.
would mean that they can probably put a 16 gigabyte RAM package at minimum, one 16 gigabyte RAM package. That I think would be the minimal RAM spec, or maybe 32. So they need to have at least 2 RAM packages.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Now, of course, according to video cards, with a Z, not an S, according to rumors and leak specifications, Nvidia is supposedly working on 2 distinct pieces of silicone, an N1X and an N1, which sounds kind of
Okay.
similar to Apple.
Yeah.
Kinda. So we have at least 2 models of this chip, which is high end and lower end. So which kind of makes me wonder. With the slower N1 chip, supposedly only having 12 CPU cores, 8 big cores and 4 small cores, and all the CUDA cores and so on. That, if you get a mini PC with that chip in it, I'd probably put it somewhere minimum the $1,200 range.
Yeah. If not a bit more, if not
Which
15.
puts it into that niche market of, should I buy the mini PC or just build a gaming computer?
Yeah. And if we go back to our favorite segment of the show that we're not doing this week, Valve Watch. Remember, we're already talking about that with Steam Machine.
Bear in mind,
Potentially $9.99.
they're and this thing could compete with that. That said, there's a gotcha with this thing. It's an ARM system compared to the Steam Machine, which is x86. So
yeah.
keep that in mind if you're buying this thing for the video games.
Let them cook for a bit, and then we're gonna see.
Yeah, let them cook.
But I think if there's gonna be second generation Steam Machine, AMD version of this could be powering it. AMD
Could
plus whoever they work with.
to be fair, if you have you seen some of the things that AMD's been cooking up lately?
Yeah, but I think they might be going ARM on
Uh,
next generation Steam machine.
they could be coming with they could be coming out with an ARM SKU at some point for AMD because they're talking
Yeah,
about that investor call, but x86 has gotten way better
yeah,
when it comes to like power efficiency. These at least in the past 5 or 6 years.
yeah. But
Which hey,
remember, first remember that Steam Frame is ARM, so they
well, of course,
probably will be next generation of Steam Deck will probably be ARM, and that would probably mean Steam Machine is ARM as well. But they still potentially could be AMD ARM, because remember, AMD has rights to make ARM CPUs if they want.
that's true. That's true. They're not pigeonholed into x86.
No, just like Intel isn't, and both
Yeah,
of them also hold rights to RISC-V and
I
probably a
mean,
couple
shoot.
of others as
Intel
well.
has foundries that make ARM CPUs.
Exactly.
So their buy-in for making an ARM chip is a lot cheaper than AMD's.
Yes. Yes. All they have to do is
Uh,
design one.
yeah, so anyways, let's move on here. Big Pod, just to let you know, I was almost compromised.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, you see, this happened 2 days ago. I get a call
Okay.
from my aunt. The
Okay.
phone caller ID said aunt said my aunt and her name. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay. Typically, I ignore most calls from the phone, but this aunt has been in and out of the hospital, and she's also family. So you're kind of just expected to answer the phone when when your 80-year old aunt is just calling you out of the blue, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I get a voice that sounds just like her, kind of saying that hey, she's in the hospital again. Because she's one of those old
Okay.
people that posts on Facebook and doesn't set the post to like friends only or anything, so she just posted into the public, right?
Yeah.
It sounds just like her. That said, there's a bit
Yes.
of a differences, but she did get a new phone recently, so
Who
so
knows?
I was expecting like the audio to be a little different. But anyways, she said that she was in the hospital and she needed help paying the medical bills,
Oh.
which is where I suddenly realized just how much of a scam this was. Because first of all, I am her power of attorney, so I pay her medical. I handle the paperwork for her medical bills.
Ah, okay.
She does not need help paying the medical bills.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
But it turns out that this was an AI deepfake.
Oh god.
Yeah. Now these have been around for a while now.
Yeah.
Basically, ever since like these AI voice services got big. But from the context of you and me, Big Pod, just us doing this podcast allows a lot of training data to be published on the internet
Let's be
that these
clear.
models can easily train on.
There is enough data for us that we can be copied. Enough.
We can,
We can be very much copied.
yeah. Heaven forbid, we both have somewhat decent microphones, so the training
Yes.
data is there. And
Yes.
I assume that at some point somebody subscribed to us on Patreon, and we provide them, that higher quality audio link that
Yeah.
they probably haven't used at all to just
Yeah.
collect the training data and get that higher quality audio feed. That way they
Yeah.
can train better. But anyways, Google announced that they're coming out with a new feature on Android,
Good.
which
What's
is
the feature?
now this feature is called fake call detection.
Okay.
And this is in response to people just simply refusing to answer calls from unknown numbers.
Yeah.
Mostly in response to cold calls in the U.S. and so on, and this AI deepfake technology. And the troubling trend is that these AI deepfake technologies are spoofing phone numbers,
Yep.
which is affecting these caller ID services, which is why it said that my aunt was calling me when in fact it was not my aunt calling me, but an AI robot.
Yeah.
That's a real problem. And of course, phone carriers, which are groups that can actually, fix this, have not actually, fixed it.
Yep.
But so Google is taking it on their own hands. Now, this only works currently on Pixel devices. Google Pixel devices running Android 12 or newer. Basically the ones that still get updates.
Of course.
And the way that this feature works is when somebody initiates a phone call from a Pixel device to a Pixel device.
So very useful right now.
Very useful right now, but you got to remember, this will eventually happen on all Android phones.
Yeah, and hopefully also with Apple. We can hope.
We can hope. Apple might just, pick up on this too and, make their own variation of this protocol, and then they're just not going to be cross-interchangeable for like 20 years until teenagers at school start screwing up everything.
And some guy at EU says these should probably work together, because who else will?
Well, anyways, if somebody initiates a phone call, their phone will then index the Google service that will then ask your phone, or so say Bigpod, you're using your Pixel phone to call me here.
Yeah.
Obviously international communication fees and all that, we're just going to just axe those right now. But say you're calling me. Yeah. Your phone will ask Google, hey, I'm using this phone number to call this guy. Google will then, or no, your phone, you calling me will actually go through to me through the carrier, but my phone will actually ask Google, hey, is this phone number associated with that phone?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Google will say yes or no.
Yeah.
It's really that easy.
Google may check if this phone is actually making call.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah,
hey, that's a very simple process. And is built off of the RCS technology that already exists. So, hey, this is useful. And,
nice.
This might actually... this simple change here...
Oh, so that makes it very simple for them to actually, like, for other companies to adopt this technology then.
Right?
If it's
because
based
it's all
on
done
RCS.
through RCS.
It's already using standardized protocols. Nice.
Yeah. Which, hey, this is a good feature. This is probably like the best security feature that Google's released in a while.
Well, call screening was probably also good.
I mean, the call screening is also good, but the only phones that really have it are the Pixel phones.
Yes.
But, this one's at least in the open standard.
Yeah, this one is using an open standard. That's good. Very good.
Yep. Very good. Very good. That said, along with this, they announced, a bunch of other features that I personally don't care about because I don't use Google Photos. And I also don't use Google Play Books.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyways, that's going to be it for the show. So,
yep.
Bigpod, I know I mentioned the Patreon. Because, I like it when people give us money.
Yeah, me too.
It sure would be nice. Because, the more you spend on that Patreon, the less I have to pay for our services that cost us money. Because, we're doing this the hard way.
Yep.
The tried and true hard way at this point. Because when was the last time we had an outage?
Quite a while. We have small intermittent outages related to
But those
reboots.
were intentional outages. We knew that was going to happen.
Yes. But actual outages a long time ago.
Long time ago.
The last unintentional outage was when I broke the server. About a year ago, actually.
Right? That's been a lot more reliable than, like Spotify.
Yeah. And especially more reliable than services like GitHub.
Definitely more reliable than GitHub. So, hey.
Being reliable.
Yep. Hey, so you know what? maybe self-hosting is worth it after all, you know.
Yep.
And if you want to help us, you know, continue to deploy self-host more and more things for you know, our own services and stuff like that, go to patreon.com/notuxallowed. Drop us a couple dollars there as a side benefit. We will provide you with a super special sauce RSS feed for your podcast client that you then put into there. It gives you higher bitrate audio.
Yeah.
There's a trade-off to higher bitrate audio, by the way. That's called slightly larger file size.
Yes.
It's not that much larger, but it is larger.
Yeah.
I
You
had
will
somebody
also
complain-
get. You will also get pre-shows sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
But do tell about the complainer.
Oh, well, you know, this guy was complaining that. So, this guy was complaining about the fact that, you know, the larger larger bitrate audio files are slightly bigger, so it takes him longer to download on his throttled mobile network connection because, you know, he uses up all his data every month.
Well, he can always listen to the normal show.
He could, in fact, always listen to the normal show, and, you know, just feel good about, you know, supporting us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days we can split off the pre-show into like its own special sauce feed, and you know, just call it NTA Extras or something like that.
Well,
I guess.
Next generation our hosting suite will have that functionality built in.
It will. In fact, you're working. Last I saw, you were making contributions to that repository because, you know, I happen to be able to see that repository quite unintentionally, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, quite unintentionally, yes.
Because, you know, we're self-hosting our own Git service now too because fuck GitHub.
Because amazingly GitHub. I love seeing that unicorn. I love seeing that unicorn very much.
Oh yeah. We had an episode where we were talking about how a guy absolutely loved GitHub, but he's sad to see it go. Go back to that one. I think it was just 2 episodes ago,
maybe
something like that. It was fairly recent. But anyways, if you would like to contact us, we have an email. It works. That is contact@tuxbase.com. Just send us an email there, or, you know, people still use Discord, so go to tuxbase.com/discord. Join our public GitHub space where people do exist, and they will talk if you talk.
Yeah.
Don't tell us that's a dead Discord. People are there, and sometimes they do talk. Most oftentimes it's emoticon wave to a join message. Other times, you know, it's a guy that just randomly joins and just starts posting pictures of Bitcoin stuff that I keep deleting.
That either of us keeps deleting.
Yep. If I ever remember to, one of these days I should just kick that guy out of Discord now that I think about it. So next time I see that, it's just, which one was that? But of course, if for some reason you're scared of dystopian Discord, we do have a matrix space.
Yep.
We had the link for that in the description. If you use Matrix, you know how to use that link.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how because if I did every single week, that'd get quite exhausting. Even though it's actually pretty simple with Element. But, you know, not everybody uses Element because, you know, it's Matrix. We also have our own YouTube channels. I don't post on mine, but Bigpod, you post on yours.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yep, links for those are in the show notes. But anyways, Bigpod, I have this fancy new box to crack open and read, so I'm going to see you next week.
Okay. Bye.